odd request for you. One of the most influential books of recent years is this one, Forces for Good, The 6 Practices of High Impact Non-Profits by Leslie Crutchfield and Heather McLeod Grant. But don't get this book. Get the follow-up instead. Do More Than Give. Best title ever. We're travelling the world to find the most inspiring stories and strategies to share with you. I'm Stephen Sonsino, and this is the Legacy Channel. Join us, it'll be fun. In this video, I want to show you 5 things to help you build your leadership legacy by doing rather than giving. First up, what's the big idea? Well, thing 1 in this book, if it's not already clear, I love the title, Do More Than Give. That just nails the core concept behind building a legacy right there. It's the opposite of the book by Bill Clinton, Giving, which is a good read, by the way, don't get me wrong. But this focus here, the steer in this book is towards action, taking direct action to make an impact. The main author, Leslie Crutchfield, talks about the evolution of the approach in the foreword and how just helping donors to find great grantees isn't enough to create ongoing high impact. She began to realise that in many cases her clients, people she was dealing with, were uniquely qualified to help actively. The authors call their approach catalytic philanthropy, and the book takes us through 6 key practices that seem to make a difference, and that includes blending profit with purpose, empowering people, everybody involved, and frankly, learning. First of all though, there's something else. Thing 2, one legacy, one cause. The book is very clear at the outset. Find your focus and commit to a single cause. Don't try a portfolio approach, even though that's a challenge in itself for many family foundations just to reach a consensus, isn't it? But you've got to reach a consensus. So where should you focus? Well, first of all, why focus? The world now faces challenges of a wholly different order, say the authors, to the ones we faced even a few years ago. And it's this world and today's reality that legacy builders need to deal with. You need to deal with if you want to make a bigger impact and a bigger difference. Emergent, evolving and complex societal problems call for equally dynamic and adaptive responses. Today's challenges and their solutions are not so well defined that they can be wedged into a grant request. Answers are often not known in advance, but require innovation and learning among many different actors before progress can be made. Even when a solution is discovered, no single entity has the authority to impose it on others. The stakeholders themselves often must create and put the solution into effect. So the world is far more complicated today. There are no longer any off-the-shelf ready-made solutions to the challenges facing the deserving and desperate communities that we want to serve. So first, focus. But what to focus on? Donors generally give because they possess 1, a sense of obligation to the different communities with which they identify, for example, schools or religious groups. Secondly, they have a commitment to honouring personal and professional relationships. If someone asks you to help, often you will. And thirdly, there is a desire to make meaningful change in the world. And it's this category that the book focuses on. Thing 3 is focus on the big issues. Now, this isn't because supporting schools, religious groups or political groups or responding to natural disasters are inferior causes, not at all. But they don't require any special expertise, say the authors. Not really. For example, many business executives can help small-scale philanthropies to get better at what they do. But making a meaningful social impact, that's a big challenge. And it's not for the faint-hearted, because the big idea in this book, as I see it, is for you to challenge yourself. What are the big global issues that need addressing in your view? And the challenge is for you to set out and tackle them. Don't just set out to solve the technical problems, funding scholarships or chairs at universities or building a schoolroom. because there are many people and many organisations, the authors suggest, who can tackle those. But your special skills, your passion, if you have the energy and the resources to make a difference at the global level, where the problems are pretty complicated and the answers aren't known, then why not? I mean, wouldn't that be a legacy worth building? If there was only one page I could take with me on a desert island instead of the whole book, my desert island page would be page 151, which shows the straightforward technical problems, the issues to address on the left-hand side where the problem's well-defined, answers well-known, implementation's pretty clear. On the right-hand side, you've got adaptive problems, which are not well defined. The answers aren't known. Implementation requires learning and lots of different stakeholders are involved. I mean, can you see how tackling these on the right, education, for example, could make a massive difference in the world? And it's one of the reasons we need to empower all the people we're working with, because we just don't know who will have the answers to the problems we're trying to solve. And we need to work with other legacy institutions as well, and non-profits, and governments. We've all got to tackle this problem from all sides. We have to involve all the stakeholders for the same reason, because we are constantly learning as we go. I mean, the authors are talking about real innovation here, solving unknown problems as we build our legacies. Basically, we're trying to answer the question, how do we create or accelerate change, global change? And we're trying to do it all together. The verdict is in. Do More Than Give is not a collection of the same old stories about the great and good, and for that reason alone it's well worth reading. Most of the case studies are from relative unknowns on the global stage. Neither, though, is the book a step-by-step manual. You've got to think about this and apply it for yourself. What it is about, above all, it's a challenge to think bigger, because you probably already realise that a one-time donation of your cash or sparing a few hours a week is not building a legacy. Building a legacy is solving a global problem that we don't yet have the answer to. We're heading into the unknown here, say the authors. My big takeaway from this book, if it isn't obvious, it's that building your leadership legacy isn't something you should tackle lightly. Get good advice, get great advice, get support from like-minded, progressive people. And don't be too impatient for a solution. Stick with it. Changing the world takes time. My 60-second summary. Thing one, gotta say it, I love this title, Do More Than Give. Just do it. Don't wait, don't donate, do it. Thing two, find a focus, one cause, not a portfolio of causes. Don't get distracted. Thing three, focus on the big issues. Collaborate to solve the problems that matter. And remember, you won't know the answers when you set out. This isn't going to be easy. Thing four, challenge yourself. What is the big issue that matters to you? That's the one that you'll be passionate about. And thing five, stick with it. We know that change takes time. While this book isn't written by a billionaire who's done it, this is the nearest thing to a guidebook for building your leadership legacy. If you only get one book on legacy building, this one should be it, by Leslie Crutchfield, John Canier and Mark Kramer. That's it for another edition. It just remains for me to say, whatever you do, change the world.
We're travelling the world to find the most inspiring stories and strategies to share with you. I'm Stephen Sonsino, and this is the Legacy Channel. Join us, it'll be fun.